Hey everyone, today is my first day working on our LibKey Nomad++ deployment, and at the moment it's still just a trial, because I don't know if we're going to keep it, and I may or may not keep talking to Sage about Lean Library. But at the moment, I figured I should give you guys some lessons learned, and maybe if the Third Iron guys end up coming across this, you'll maybe update your documentation. I don't know, maybe I'm thicker in the head than average, so... first and foremost, I wanted to get the chat set up, and the chat module documentation isn't super clear on this, at least to me, because I'm not super familiar with the inside of SpringShare. So I thought, from the way it was reading, like it's underneath this admin account, and it's actually not, because if you go under like admin widgets, there's some that say they're chat, and I was trying to like match this to the front of our website, but the code is like completely different, and I did not realize we had people's names in there. So all right. So yeah, you have like that script, and then where they actually are, which is under here. So just a heads up on that one. Um, does does need to be the ones from one of here. So I think I ended up, yep, see, I ended up cloning one, and I'm not going to copy it, but made the thing. Looks like that. Essentially a copy. The big thing also to remember is if your chat normally floats, you need to set it to in-page chat, which it does say in the instructions, but I found the instructions, I had to go like up and down a whole bunch. I don't know, maybe the section 2 should be on the bottom. I don't know. But yeah, it took me a while to figure out like why it wasn't doing a thing, which brings me to my next fun thing I learned, which it does say, if you read very slowly and carefully, and maybe I'm just again dense, that your chat won't pop up or appear at all until you actually have a domain message in place. And the other tip off that I had the wrong chat with, it didn't have this like load PHP in it, it had a very different URL. So you have to have something to trigger the chat on some sort of domain. So if you don't have anything, it won't show up. Same for citation services. You don't have to set up the authenticated for everything. You just pick which ones you want. And we'll get into Design Studio. I did do a nice mock-up of changing our logo, but that's pending approval by marketing. And also, if I just change the colors, it looks very Christmas. So that's kind of a downside. So I'm like, please agree to let me use our logo, maybe. I don't know. We've been using like a cobbled together one because they don't like us using our mascot. At least they didn't for a long time, except for athletics. Now they're loosening up on it because they took away the other logo that was less well known but was used for academic stuff. So anyway, I've built out the domain messaging, and oh yeah, there's also a cookie icon, but I can't remember which one of these sites it like popped up on when I was doing the first round of these. So the first round of these was mostly just authentication links. So those are fairly easy to describe. So I'll do the IEEE one. So, and hopefully it won't remember me as being authenticated. So yeah, this is the one that's got like the cookie icon. So cookie preferences, that gives you a little, hello, what would you like to do here? Sort of a thing. And you log in, it authenticates, and it redirects me out here. Uh, so, first and foremost, uh, and I'll just go in. Like I said, I'm using IEEE as an example. So, naming it's not just difficult, but I really do not like the wording for content link consideration because it took me a couple go arounds in my thick head to realize what exactly it was saying. So the content link is download PDF or any of the other options except for access site, I believe. So anything that allows you to direct download the content. And so content link is download PDF. So yeah, I just wrote if download PDF appears here, your like options in order. So display rule. So technically I get that it's named a rule, but as a human being, I'm like, it needs to say something like display message or display link. or message and or link, because it says display rule and link content link, and it's, I don't know, to me it's very vague. I get the technical side of it, but if you're trying to have other people who are more less, I don't know, tech-y, this is kind of hard to follow in my opinion. I don't know, your mileage may vary, but yeah, option one is do not show the message. If you have a download PDF already showing up on your LibKey Nomad button, the download PDF shows that you're already authenticated, so it doesn't necessarily. So the first round of these I set up are for authentication. You don't necessarily need to show the content link. So the second one is, if it's showing the download PDF, show it anyway. The third one is like, doesn't matter if it shows it, doesn't show a PDF. I don't care. Show the thing. Just show the message. And the last one is, if there is a download PDF, show this, link or message, and hide that actual content link. So yeah, I found this kind of confusing. Displayed it. It took me several go rounds, and like I said, I ended up writing this out by hand and let the actual display not. Yeah. So that's my feedback for you, Third Iron. If you're listening, please make that a little more understandable. The three authentication ones are pretty easy to get. So you're either authenticated into the website domain, you're not, which is most of the reasons why I'm doing authentication loops, or ones that we'll see in a minute when I test Chronicle of whether or not you're authenticated. Show the thing anyway. Tell people we have print stuff. That's not Chronicle. I'm sorry. That's another one. But it's like, do you want the print? Come down here. We have print. And that brings me to the next little point here. If you're doing authentication links, you don't necessarily need to put anything in the message bar. Whatever's that link text is going to become your button. However, it does take some getting used to figure out whether or not you need the authentication link to send you somewhere else, or if the authentication loop will work. The authentication loop returns you to the same page as wherever you started the authentication process from. And it will send you through Easy Proxy, but my experience today was that even though it's got the Easy Proxy part in the URL, once you start searching on the publisher website, it still asks you to log in and authenticate through your institution. So I was like, okay, some of these we are just going to have to make them authentication links and send them back out, because just simply reloading the main website that you would have found on the internet is just not happening, which was a bit disappointing. I know they talked a bit at Eluna about the other option that's coming soon here, where it'll do the redirect for you, which would be so nice, and I'm looking forward to that. But at the moment, yeah, that's the big thing. And custom is custom link send you somewhere else that doesn't require authentication, and then no link is kind of obvious. All right, so I already tested all these fun guys. We're gonna test the more complicated ones, which are all of the dry mouth journals. Actually, we won't do Show Foundation. So we'll start with Detroit News and work our way up. For some reason, I thought we had access to the Detroit Free Press. I'm surprised we don't. And why is this checked and that not? What message type? Oh, okay. There's a link, there's a message, there's a link, there's a message, authentication. Okay. Don't mind me, still getting used to the interface. So Grand Rapids Press, eNews, GR. And of course, my recording thing is right in the way, so I'm going to figure out how to gently move that, or not. Hang on. Okay, hopefully this wasn't a huge changeover in the recording. I had to move the toolbar down out of the way. So yeah, what were we going to test? I just already forgot it. We are on Detroit News, yes. Yes, maybe Detroit News. Detroit News, so DetroitNews.com. Let's see what we get. As you can tell, I've been playing with this a while. Alright, so this one, and I should have moved this again, but no, just block. So this actually says search the Detroit News on or via Newsbank, mainly because this is how we have to deal with the Detroit News. And I did this for the 3 newspapers that we have that are routed through Newsbank, mainly because I wanted to warn people. This is just a Newsbank interface thing, and I won't go too far off the deep end. But if you're genuinely trying to read a newspaper, I don't know, I find it kind of bulky because you get a lot of these little snippy bits. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, search if you want to. It's not my favorite interface. So we have that one. We have eNewsGR. And it actually took me a while to confirm that like this was where the Grand Rapids Press ended up, and it is, oh, eNews. Come on, fingers, work with me here. So Grand Rapids Press, we also have search the Grand Rapids Press via Newsbank. Wiki, there's that. All right, next one. I know you love testing with me. Just a minute. All right, so this is our local paper, which we have archive, and I probably should get an actual subscription because every so often I'm like really tempted to read online. I don't remember to go downstairs and get the print. But this one, I may have to pause and drag this again. Should bring up a nice big message in addition to that. All right, hang on, a little quick pause so I drag this out of the way so I can read it again. Okay, so this one's really big, but I was kind of like, I kind of want to tell people that we do have the print of this because it is a local paper, or the local paper, and it is still being printed. Those of you who are like, there's a newspaper out there somewhere that's not NYTWSG. Yeah, so preferred prints available on the ground floor of the library, and then you can also, again, go out to Newsbank. In this case, you can see there's the chat functionality. I did test this earlier, and if it's not got a domain associated with it, it just opens up the chat. It doesn't open up like your little embedded window, and it looks really strange. So that's why I was like, is my chat working? Is my chat not working? I don't know. So, and now it's doing a very large, okay. I think this has something to do with my zoom in settings because I'm blind and have to make large things. So that's good. Wall Street Journal, for some odd reason, I thought we still had a direct subscription to it. At some point, it came for the cuts. So, oh yeah. Okay, fine. So we'll go to WSJ. I should have something pop up besides ads. It's thinking maybe. No? Did I set this up wrong? WSJ.com? WSJ.com? Okay. So this is the other thing that kind of drives me nuts a little bit with working on Nomad, and that is that you have to remember to refresh it. So you have to go in if you're making changes, and this is the other little bit of advice I'll give you. Make your changes sort of like 5 or 6 at a time. Otherwise, if you keep manually refreshing it, I don't know. I have a hard time being like, let's keep refreshing. And it is not seeming to appear. Okay. What's up with that? So let me go look at my role. Clearly I've done something wrong here. WSJ.com. WSJ.com. Display rule when content link is not present. I don't see any content link. Okay. But clearly it doesn't want to come off. So, user not authenticated. It's an authentication link. I don't know. Does it matter? I don't think it would be authenticated to WSJ. So I'm just going to switch this whether or not you're authenticated. Maybe that's what's causing my happy little problem because I'm authenticated to the ProQuest side and maybe it's just having a little conniption fit on me. Anyway, you like testing with me, right? So do this again. Options, refresh. It thinks it's refreshed. Refresh the page. Here we go. Thank you. Like sitting here going, it will work. It will work. Yeah, that was the other fun thing about demoing LibKey Nomad when we were especially remote, because it's like I'm on slow internet out in the rural area, and it was a lot of, okay, hang on, because the first time I remember demoing it, when it builds links live, especially in large sites like Wikipedia, it was kind of like, oh god, it's not working. And no, it's just like, it takes forever to cross-reference its DOI and build its happy little buttons, and if you're on slow internet, it does seem a little bit like eternity, and then I have to remind myself I'm older than the internet, gosh darn it, so I have nothing to complain about. Anyway, So I land on WSJ and we have access it via ProQuest. And I specifically use access instead of search because you can search, but you can also scroll down. And in this case, like the issue contents, in my opinion, for Wall Street Journal is a lot easier to surf through. So, all right, got that little jingled. So where does that leave us? Okay, Chronicle of Higher Education. I'm sure we are not the only ones who have faculty who don't know the library buys Chronicle. So yeah, log into the Chronicle. And this one just ended up being a simple authentication redirect, and so you can see, blah, blah, blah. We got stuff going on. You can't tell it's like the libraries, but it's fine. Alright, The Athletic. And I'm not going to click on this because I know how our content is set up and I don't want to accidentally register. So yeah, I have to go in and register. Our chat icon is super big when these get big, so mark with the button to register. Blah, blah, blah. So yep, that's showing up. And you do have to register for like a New York Times account. It's sort of strange. Well, it's not strange. It's underneath the New York Times, but they're managed very differently in our setup, which is interesting to me. Okay, so yeah, log in with the New York Times or click to register. And I do believe these are both set up, like regardless whether or not you're authenticated, because the way our A to Z list is, like once you're authenticated, it's supposed to go back again to the front of the database, and then again, I'm waiting for that upgrade, third iron, when it'll automatically redirect to the front. But at the moment, like, I like that you can't really see that, like, it's there and click to register if you don't already have one. So, anyway, thank you for listening to me for 20 minutes, and that's been my experience doing this first round deployment before Memorial Day, and it's been fun. Hopefully, this will help some of y'all not have to poke around as much as I did.